Dear viewers and listeners of Khabarhub and Radio Candid, Namaste and welcome to a very special interview with His Excellency Mr. Hanan Goldberger, the Israeli ambassador to Nepal. Excellency, welcome to Khabarhub. The first question for today is, as it is almost 6 decades that both the countries have signed diplomatic relations, how do you look at the bilateral relations of Nepal and Israel?
When I look at the last 6 decades of relations, I think that a lot of good events and good cooperation has happened during these 60 years. But let me first appreciate the courageous step that was taken by the first democratically elected BP Koirala in 1960. It was a courageous step of a great leader. Israel will never forget the fact that Nepal was the first one and the only one from this part of the world for many decades to keep relations with the state of Israel. And I think that it is pride for Nepal that it was leading this process. And I know later many other countries joined. But when I look at the bilateral relations, a lot was achieved, a lot was gained, and the bilateral relations between the two countries are excellent.
Excellency, agriculture is one of the major sectors of Nepal. It's a backbone of Nepal's economy. How has Israel supporting Nepal in this sector?
The agricultural sector in Nepal is crucial, important, and I should almost say the soul of the Nepali society. 60% of Nepalis are engaged in agriculture. Their income, their lifestyle is coming from agriculture. In Israel, the situation is different. In Israel, only 2% of the population are in agriculture. And the 2% produce food to the 98%. And Israel is exporting food. And there is no magic. This is what we are proud to share with Nepal. In the last decade, we have taken 3,000 Nepalis to Israel for training on Learn and Earn project, together with SKBB, Sana Kisan Bikas Bank. And they are spending 1 year in the Learn and Earn project. They work in Israeli agriculture. They earn money. They go to college. They make researches. And they come back to Nepal bringing the Israeli culture of work. And when I visit all over the country, I see the graduates. 3,000 people is a lot. I see them all over the country making new agriculture, making modern agriculture. And this is the biggest challenge. The people here must understand that the old agriculture finish. We must move forward to the modern agriculture. Your big neighbors are hardworking and smart. And if you will not move forward with this technology, you are left behind. So in this aspect, I think this cooperation of knowledge, of culture of work is very, very important. What they learn, these students, when they go to Israel, they understand a most important thing. You put 1 rupee, you collect 5 rupees. You will invest 1,000 rupees, you will collect 5,000 rupees. Agriculture is not a hobby. It's a business, it's a profession, it's a way of life. And this is something that I think is beginning to change here. And I will tell you, with the amazing potential, agricultural potential that you have here in Nepal, with different climates and very fertile land and hardworking people, Nepal will be able in 10 years to begin to export food. Let me repeat, Nepal will be able, in just a few years, if you continue this trend, Nepal will be able to export food because of more productivity. But you have a challenge. You have to make the investments. You have to make the change in the concept. Remaining with the old agriculture will not lead you anywhere.
Excellency, the trade between two countries is very nominal. So how do you look at the possibility of increasing it?
The trade, well, we are both small countries. A lot of the trade is done through India, so it is not counted. But I think that the items that Israel is exporting, again, you are not aware. If you look at your mobile telephone, the software inside is Israeli. And you don't know because you bought a mobile telephone, you don't understand that it is, or medical equipment and so on. Nepal has a lot of, as I mentioned before, agricultural products to export. Your tea is amazing. Your coffee is high quality. Other products, ginger, I'm talking about cash products. Rice is amazing, but rice cannot bring huge amounts of money. And I think in some places, of course, to grow rice, this is the best place, but in some places, maybe you should make a shift to change and to produce more things. The textile in Nepal is now beginning. So I think that in a few years we will see a great change in events here, also in the economical field, and I think this will automatically increase the trade between the two countries.
Excellency, what are the current priorities of Israel in Nepal?
We have, Israel is a very small country. People are not aware. Israel is the size of one of the 7 provinces of Nepal. This is the size of Israel, like one province in Nepal. The priorities for us in Nepal is to continue the good relations, to continue the excellent bilateral cooperation and sharing of knowledge, of scholarships, of opportunities between the two countries. And I'm sure that we will continue this trend of cooperation. A few years ago, we celebrated the fact that we are very near, although we are the two extremes. Nepal has the highest point in the world, the Everest, and Israel has the lowest place in the world, the Dead Sea. So although we are both extremes, we have issued stamps on that. We have exchanged stones. We have 2 stones taken from base camp in Everest and are in Dead Sea. And we have taken 2 stones from Dead Sea and they are in Namche Bazaar in the headquarters of the park. So all these are symbolic things that show the connection between the two nations, between the two people. And this is going on, and we are very happy with it.
Excellency, Nepal is a developing country. So how can Israel help Nepal in its development?
We are giving scholarships. And the idea behind these scholarships, and it's very unique to Israel, not in like other countries, we are taking people in the middle of their career to upgrade them. They stay in Israel for a month or 2 or 3, and they learn the Israeli experience and bring them, and they come here back to Nepal. It's not brain drain that you know from other places, because when you take people that have positions, they come back to their families and to the work. And I think that we see this group of graduates in the Shalom Club, the group of people that studied in Israel. We have thousands of them, and they are all over in all fields of the economy, of the agriculture, of the education, of the health sector, of NGOs. Wherever you go, you will find these people. And I think that this is a good cooperation between the two countries. So we will continue with that as well.
Excellency, let's come to multilateral relations. How can Nepal and Israel work together at bilateral as well as multilateral level?
Relations have 2 legs. You have the bilateral leg and the multilateral legs. While the bilateral leg is excellent, as we just mentioned, there are some issues on the multilateral. But first we have to understand what are multilateral relations. Multilateral relations is when it happens not only between Nepal and Israel directly, but when it involves international issues. And multilateral issues happen mainly in New York, also in the Human Rights Council in Geneva, and in international organizations. We expect that the excellent bilateral relations will affect also on the level of the multilateral relations. Unfortunately, we are yet to see it. Unfortunately, we don't see that there is an effect so far, and we are looking for improvement of the multilateral relations, which means the votes of Nepal in international organizations on issues that are related to Israel and are related to the Middle East. We will be happy to see an improvement in that.
Excellency, finally, how has been your stay in Nepal so far? What are your impressions for Nepal?
I think that I took the slogan of the Ministry of Tourism. Maybe it's time to put this slogan: Nepal, once is not enough. This is my second tenure here in Nepal, and I think this is lovely. Lovely people, lovely heritage, lovely culture, lovely natural treasures that you have all over the country. Please preserve it. You have a treasure in wherever you go here in the country. I hope that Nepalis will be able to preserve it. Protect your environment. It's very fragile. The environmental problems that we see in your neighboring countries can reach here if we will continue to neglect it. So I really wish and hope for Nepal to continue to be Nepalese, to keep your heritage, and to keep whatever you have, also your amazing nature.
Excellency, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
My great pleasure. Dere dere dhanyabad, khushi lagyo.
Thank you.